For decades, luxury brands insisted that exclusivity meant prices always rose and that discounts never appeared. Between 2020 and 2023, they bet on that promise, hiking prices by up to 15% a year as demand exploded. But today, brands like Gucci, Burberry, and Saint Laurent are quietly slashing prices behind closed doors, flooding outlets, and watching the resale market reveal how fragile their prestige has become. If luxury was supposed to be untouchable, why are so many elite labels now forced to chase buyers instead of the other way around? The answer starts with the pandemic boom, and it ends somewhere much more uncomfortable for both brands and collectors. Lockdowns in 2020 handed millions of people something rare: time at home and unexpected cash. With travel off the table and restaurants shuttered, spending shifted in ways that caught even seasoned analysts off guard. By mid-2021, U.S. households alone had built up an estimated $2.3 trillion in excess savings, much of it fueled by government stimulus checks and reduced expenses. The usual outlets for luxury spending, international vacations, fine dining, five-star hotels, were suddenly inaccessible. Instead, attention turned to goods that could be purchased online and delivered to the doorstep. High-end handbags, sneakers, and jewelry became substitutes for the experiences people could not have. This redirection of spending was not subtle. In the luxury sector, sales of personal goods, bags, shoes, watches grew at rates not seen in decades. Reports from 2021 and 2022 tracked double-digit growth in these categories, while travel and hospitality remained almost completely frozen. Brands responded by tightening supply and raising prices, convinced that the appetite for luxury had reached a new permanent level. Chanel's classic flat bag, for example, saw its price climb by over 60% in 3 years. Across the industry, flagship items routinely jumped 10 to 15% each year, with some models even outpacing that. The digital shift accelerated transparency. As more luxury purchases moved online, consumers could instantly compare prices across regions, track availability, and see which items were selling out. Social media and resale platforms turned every new release into a global event, amplifying the sense of urgency. Brands interpreted this surge as a sign of unstoppable demand, emboldening them to push prices higher and restrict access further. Executives spoke confidently about a new normal for luxury consumption, convinced that pent-up demand would last long after lockdowns ended. But beneath the surface, the drivers of this boom were temporary. The excess savings built up during lockdowns began to dwindle as economies reopened and spending on travel and experiences resumed. By late 2023, the same forces that had inflated luxury demand were fading, leaving brands with inventories and pricing strategies built for a world that no longer existed. The stage was set for a reckoning that would test just how unbreakable luxury's promises really were. Luxury houses did not just raise prices. They dramatically widened their product ranges and doubled down on expansion. From 2021 through 2023, brands like Gucci, Balenciaga, and Burberry released hundreds of new stock-keeping units, chasing every possible silhouette, colorway, and collaboration. Licensing deals multiplied, letting third parties produce eyewear, fragrances, and even homeware under the luxury name. The logic was simple. If demand looked bottomless, why not flood the market with options? Annual list prices climbed 8% to 15%, season after season. Executives pointed to supply chain bottlenecks and surging online demand to justify the hikes. Behind the scenes, however, warehouses began to fill. A merchandising executive who asked not to be named described the mood inside a major European house at the end of 2022. We were told to buy deep on every trend. If a sneaker or a bag was hot, we would order triple. By the time the next season hit, we still had pallets left from the last drop. This overproduction was not limited to headline brands. Across the industry, licensing and wholesale expansion meant products were showing up in more department stores, more regional boutiques, and more outlet centers. The idea of scarcity, the backbone of luxury, was quietly being traded for volume. For every flagship boutique with velvet ropes, there were now dozens of off-price channels quietly moving unsold goods. Stock-keeping unit proliferation brought short-term revenue, but long-term risk. When the initial wave of pandemic-fueled demand began to ebb, brands were left holding inventory built for a market that no longer existed. The promise of exclusivity was undermined by the sheer volume of product in circulation. By late 2023, many brands faced a choice: hold excess stock and risk aging out of trend, or move it quietly through private invitation sales, staff discounts, and regional outlets. Either way, the myth that luxury never discounts was already starting to crack. If you are thinking of buying luxury this year, or you already own designer pieces, now is the time to like and subscribe. These market shifts are accelerating faster than most brands will admit, and staying informed could make a real difference for your next purchase. Gucci's strategy between 2021 and 2023 centered on volume, more logos, more silhouettes, and more variations than ever before. The GG Marmont and Dionysus lines, once status symbols, turned into commodities as hundreds of new SKUs flooded boutiques and soon after, the secondary market. By late 2024, platforms like The RealReal and Vestiaire Collective listed over 400 GG Marmont bags at any given time, a figure more than double the volume seen just 3 years prior. The effect was visible. Average resale prices for these models dropped by 18%, and days on market before a bag sold nearly doubled. For buyers, what was once a sign of exclusivity became a signal of oversupply. Balenciaga chased hype with similar intensity, especially through its Triple S sneaker and speed trainer lines. Early demand sent resale prices soaring above $2,000, but the brand responded by ramping up production. By 2024, the same sneakers were liquidating for $350 on discount platforms, with dozens of identical pairs listed simultaneously on StockX and other resale sites. Even core bags, which once commanded waitlists, began showing up in discount channels and outlets. Warehouse liquidation stories circulated among resellers, describing mountains of inventory no one wanted to be seen carrying. The rapid expansion left the brand exposed. Hype cycles that once drove scarcity now revealed how quickly prestige can unravel when supply outpaces desire. If you are considering buying luxury this year or already own designer items, please like and subscribe. These market shifts are accelerating faster than brands admit, and this channel will continue to track what actually holds value. Versace took a different road. Collaborations and licensing deals multiplied, stretching the brand across footwear, ready-to-wear, and lifestyle categories. The Medusa and Baroque motifs, once reserved for signature pieces, appeared in an array of collab drops and licensed products. In 2023 alone, Versace launched more than a dozen major collaborations, each with its own limited edition run. As the releases stacked up, resale platforms recorded a clear pattern. Markdowns appeared across categories, especially in footwear and collab-branded items. The resale value of these pieces dropped sharply, and buyers began to treat new launches as just another opportunity to wait for a discount. Each of these brands illustrates a distinct oversupply mechanism. Gucci's logo proliferation, Balenciaga's hype-to-volume surge, and Versace's collab saturation all fed the same outcome: prestige diluted by abundance. The evidence is not hidden in financial statements. It is visible in the sheer number of listings, the speed of markdowns, and the shifting attitudes of buyers who now see luxury as something that can and will go on sale. For those tracking the market, these patterns have become impossible to ignore. Burberry's Kensington trench, once a symbol of British luxury, now appears on resale platforms for under $400, a fraction of its original price. Outlet tags are common, and factory stores stock the coat year-round. The trench, once rare and aspirational, has become a fixture on off-price racks, its exclusivity quietly slipping away as supply outpaces demand. Saint Laurent's Lulu and Sac de Jour lines expanded with new sizes and seasonal colors, but the market did not respond as hoped. Hundreds of Lulu bags now circulate on secondary sites, with average resale prices down 12% since 2022. Limited editions, once prized, often pass through private sales and staff discounts before ending up in outlets. Stretching core lines has trained buyers to expect markdowns, eroding the sense of scarcity. Givenchy's Antigona bag, which once signaled the brand's rise in leather goods, faces a similar fate. From 2019 to 2024, its average resale price dropped nearly 20%, and days on market doubled. As Givenchy broadened its leather goods selection to compete, the market responded with indifference. Inventory lingers, and discounting is no longer a rare exception, but the standard. Jimmy Choo's Romy heel, a staple of red carpet events, is now a regular at outlet centers. Shoes that once retailed for $400 to $800 are liquidated at warehouse sales for a fraction of their value. Promotions like buy one, get one free have become routine, stripping away the exclusivity that once defined the brand's footwear. Ferragamo, known for the Verena flat and classic loafers, now relies heavily on factory outlets. Deep discounts on core models are common, and the average time to sell Ferragamo shoes has risen by over 30% since 2021. The outlet channel, once a minor outlet for excess, now serves as a main distribution route, undercutting boutiques and weakening pricing power. Prada has taken a more selective approach. Core leather bags keep higher price floors, but seasonal nylon and lightweight accessories are frequently discounted in select regions. In 2025, United States prices for some Prada lines rose 5%, while European prices remained steady, and Asian markets saw effective discounts through duty-free and regional promotions. This patchwork pricing encourages cross-border shopping and arbitrage, with resale platforms quickly mirroring these disparities. Coach, once the face of accessible luxury, now depends on constant promotions and outlet sales. Factory tags are everywhere, and buyers have learned to wait for deals. The brand's prestige has faded, replaced by an expectation of discounts. What began as a strategy to broaden reach has locked Coach into a cycle where full price is rarely the starting point. Across these brands, outlet tags, regional price gaps, and the widening difference between retail and resale reveal the same story. Heritage icons and selective product lines have lost their aura of scarcity. As discounting becomes routine and inventory spills into every channel, luxury's promise of rarity and endurance is quietly rewritten. If you are considering buying luxury this year, or you already own designer items, please like and subscribe. These market shifts are accelerating faster than brands admit, and watching resale values matters. Before paying full retail, check resale reality. Look at current resale values, inventory levels, and whether an item still holds a price floor. Subscribe for more deep dives into luxury brands, pricing power, and what is actually worth buying now. On the surface, luxury retail pricing still hints at stability, but the numbers behind the scenes tell a different story. Resale platforms now track a surge in inventory that is not moving. Between 2019 and 2025, the ratio of active listings to actual sales for top luxury models has climbed by 35%. In practice, that means for every 10 bags listed in 2019, nearly 7 would sell within a few weeks. By 2025, that figure drops to less than 5. The average days on market, how long it takes for a luxury bag or shoe to find a buyer, has risen more than 60% over the same period. Where a Saint Laurent Lulu or Gucci Marmont might have sold in under a week just a few years ago, it now lingers for nearly 2 weeks, sometimes longer, even when priced below retail. Aggregate resale price indices confirm the trend. While flagship retail prices rose 8 to 15% per year through 2023, resale prices for non-iconic models flattened or declined. The gap between what brands ask and what buyers actually pay on the secondary market is wider than at any point in the past decade. For models once marketed as investment bags, the floor has dropped out. The Balenciaga Triple S, which once traded above retail, now clears at a fraction of its original price, with dozens of identical pairs listed at any given time. The Givenchy Antigona and Ferragamo Verena, both previously considered staples, show similar patterns: rising inventory, longer days on market, and falling sale prices. An analyst at one leading resale platform points to these metrics as the most reliable signal of true demand. When listing-to-sale ratios climb and days on market stretch out, it indicates buyers are waiting, not competing. The data shows that excess supply and consumer patience have become the rule, not the exception. For those tracking the luxury market, these numbers provide forensic proof. The promise of scarcity is being quietly rewritten, not by what brands say, but by what actually sells, and at what price. Discounting in luxury is not a one-off event. It is a feedback loop that changes how people shop and how brands are perceived. The cycle begins when a brand introduces a quiet discount, whether a private sale, an outlet placement, or a regional promotion. Word spreads quickly, often through resale platforms or social media groups. Shoppers learn that waiting pays off. Full-price purchases slow, and inventory starts to pile up. To clear excess stock, brands increase the depth or frequency of discounts, and the pattern repeats. Over time, this loop erodes the expectation that luxury is immune to markdowns, making it harder for brands to command premium prices in the future. Yet, not every luxury house falls into this trap. Hermes is the textbook example of scarcity discipline. Securing a Birkin or Kelly bag is a process that can take 6 months to a year, sometimes longer. There are no official discounts, no outlets, and no public sales events. This strict control means that even on the resale market, Birkin bags often sell above retail, and wait lists remain a reality. Chanel takes a similar approach with its classic flat bag. Annual price increases are modest, typically 2 to 3%, and distribution is tightly managed. The result? Resale floors for the classic flap consistently hover at or above 90% of retail, even in a soft market. The resale market is the real truth teller for demand. Collapsing resale values, rising listing volumes, and excess inventory make it clear which pieces still hold heat and which do not. So-called investment bags are losing their price floors. When resale values fall, consumers learn to wait, and that retrains the market. Discounting becomes expected, and long-term pricing power weakens. For buyers, collectors, and resellers, these patterns offer a practical checklist. Always check recent resale prices for the model you want. If the average sale is well below retail, waiting is usually wise. Pay attention to days on market and listing volumes on platforms like The RealReal and Vestiaire Collective. Rising numbers signal oversupply and likely discounts ahead. Prioritize true scarcity. Items with wait lists or limited distribution are more likely to hold value. Beware brands with heavy outlet presence. Once discounting becomes routine, full-price prestige rarely recovers. If you are considering buying luxury this year or already own designer items, please like this video and subscribe. These market shifts are accelerating faster than brands admit, and staying informed matters. Check resale reality before paying full retail. Subscribe for more deep dives into luxury brands, pricing power, and what is actually worth buying now. Today, luxury's real value is exposed not by boutiques, but by the global resale market, now projected to hit $38 billion in 2025. As discounting quietly retrains buyers and erodes prestige, only a handful of brands can still command true scarcity. In this new reality, perception shifts faster than price tags. Before you buy, ask, what is the story behind the sticker? Share your perspective in the comments below.